Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is now in session. With me tonight, I have the one, the only, Jonathan Mathis, better known as the Judge. How you doing, my brother?
How you doing, my brother? Hey, it's a pleasure to be back on. It's been a minute since we've done the show together. Thanks for having me on, Michael. I hope all is well. Always great to talk to you. Always great to hear from you, my man. Everything is well over here in Southern California. I'm actually enjoying some fresh air right now. I'm outside on my front patio, so it feels great right now.
That's awesome. Before we get into the NBA, because I want to get your take on a few things. What is your final take on the Super Bowl? Can you hear me?
You're cutting in and out, my friend.
All right. Well, what is your final take on the Super Bowl? We're having difficulties. Oh, what's going on? Oh, we got to get you back. Anyway, hopefully we can get him back. Hopefully we can correct this. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Here? Yes.
You can hear me? Okay,
I can
good.
hear you.
All right, we're good now. We're right back on track. Now, Judge, what is your final take on the Super Bowl?
I'm here.
What is your final take on the Super Bowl?
Man, a lot of people felt it was a boring game, but I'm in the minority, my friend. I felt like it was a close game for the time being. The Patriots hung in there for as long as they could, and that was mainly because the defense kept them in the game. I mean, Christian Gonzalez was everything for that defense. It was like a one show out there. But like I said yesterday and multiple times, Seattle was just too strong, too physical, too big, and it was almost impossible to beat them. And towards the end there, they pulled away. Drake May never really settled in, never really seemed like himself. He wasn't the quarterback that we were accustomed to seeing all season. And part of that is because he ran into a buzzsaw. What the Patriots finally encountered was a defense that is actually elite. And, they got hit in the mouth. And, the next thing you know, Drake May is making mistakes. He's turning over the football. You had the costly fumble. You had the 2 picks in the game. Just a very uncharacteristic day for him. I thought he struggled mightily all night, and I kind of felt that coming into the game. I kind of knew that he would struggle because if you go back to the AFC Championship game, we really didn't know how they would look or how they would respond after the blizzard came. But then you look at how they played against Houston, right? And thank God for CJ Stroud because he was the ultimate gift, right? He just kept giving them the football. He had the four interceptions in the game. And, Houston, to me, is a very good defensive team. We're talking about a Super Bowl caliber defense. And, he struggled in that game. He hasn't played his best football in a month. He's played poorly for a month. So it wasn't really surprising to see him have the game that he had. So I kind of predicted it coming into the game. And to look at Seattle and to look at Sam Darnold and his amazing story, I mean, wow. You talk a redemption story. That is one for sure. I mean, this guy did a complete 180 turnaround, and he just looks like a different quarterback. I mean, wow, it's just amazing. The transformation, the story within itself, how he was able to rewrite his story. And, Sam Darnold really didn't have to do much, my friend. He just needed to take care of the football, and he did that. He took care of the football, and the defense did the rest, and the run game was strong with Kenneth Walker doing his thing, which is why he won MVP. And a lot of people were saying, well, the kicker should have won the MVP. Well, yes, we could give love to Jason Myers too, but Kenneth Walker was instrumental, because he was able to gain a chunk of yards for the kicker to get in field goal range to make those kicks, set up his kicker nicely to put those points on the board. And so, to me, I didn't think it was a boring game. I thought what we witnessed was a Seattle defense that had this all-time defensive performance that will go down as one of the greatest defensive performances in NFL history.
Now, Judge, what do you take about that fantastic offensive line that the Patriots had?
Well, see, that's the thing, right? They're young. I mean, you're putting a lot on a rookie, Will Campbell. I mean, come on. The man had butterflies. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. The jitters, you're nervous in a game like that. So I could only imagine the nerves and how you feel and been on the big stage. And I'll just say this. He's going to grow from this. He's going to learn from this. This was a big moment for him. And sometimes when you're on the big stage and when the bright lights are shining on you, you're a bit overwhelmed. You don't know what to do with yourself in a situation like that. So I think we got to give the kid a break a bit. Yes, he got dogged out there. Yes, it looked bad. He got bullied. Yes, the left side of that offensive line was the weakest, on that O-line. And it just looked bad. Will Campbell, what I will say about Will Campbell is that he needs to put on some pounds. He needs to use this offseason to put on some weight, to get a little bit bigger so he won't get bullied like that. Because if you look at Drake May, man, Drake May looked scared out there because he wasn't able to scan the field like he would want to.
That's true.
Because he was looking at Will Campbell, because here's Will Campbell over here getting punked and not knowing what to do with himself in a situation like that. So then now your quarterback is to the point where he can't play his usual game because he is worried more about getting hit than anything else. And that's what we saw in that game. And I think the offensive line was a big reason why they lost that game. The defense did everything they could, but the defense can only do so much. The defense can only do so much. And like I said, if you look at the first half, it was 6-0 in the first half. The defense kept them in the game for as long as they could. And unfortunately, Drake May and that offensive line wasn't the little engine that could.
That's very true. That was a great take, by the way. Now, the reason why I really wanted you on is we got to talk about the Lakers. What I wanted to bring up prior to that, though, Judge, is that what is going on with the Jenny Buss LeBron saga and that whole saga about the new ownership and her firing all her siblings? I want your take on. I've been dying to get your take on that.
I know you heard me talk about that. So this is what happens. This is what happens when a father hands over his franchise to his kids, right? I'm going to use this, Michael. Let's just say if you hand your kids something, you leave your kids something like a house or anything of that nature, right? They're not going to take care of it the way you took care of it. That's just straight facts, right? Because they don't appreciate it the same way you do because they didn't work hard to earn it or to, make it happen. They are not the ones that planted the foundation for that franchise or took on the ownership. And so Jeannie Buss was handed a franchise and really didn't know what to do with it. And she's the type of person that has to have so many people in her ear telling her what to do. And that's not how you run a franchise. That is not how you run a franchise. You can't have too many voices in your ear telling you what to do. You got to make your own decisions. And a lot of it was nepotism. She's a nepo baby. And she wanted to have people in charge who knew her. She wanted to have people from her family to help her run the franchise. And sometimes you got to go outside of the house. You can't always keep it in-house. And that is the problem with the Los Angeles Lakers. They like to keep it in-house. They like to keep it within the family. And she needs to learn to separate herself from that. And I'm glad she sold the team, honestly, because now the Lakers have a chance to actually get somewhere. by her selling the team. You know, that's the best thing she could have done. And I think she sold the team because it became a little bit stressful for her. She knows deep down inside she really can't run the organization. And here's the big problem I have with Jeannie Buss, and it's nothing but love for me because I don't like to be too critical of her, but sometimes you have to be critical. And the thing with her is she can't take accountability. It's not all on LeBron. Yes, you gave LeBron the keys to your franchise and he started making, decisions. I do believe that, allegedly, right? We hear all these things that he was the GM, that he wanted Russell Westbrook. We all know that didn't work out, that he wanted certain guys to team up with him and pair up with him. But whose fault is that? That's Jeannie Buss's fault because she allowed it to happen. And someone can only do what they can do to you if you allow them to do it. And that's what she did. And that's why the franchise is in the state that it's in right now.
Now, what is your take on the fact that she held the Rambus crew real close to her, and she paid $140 million in bonuses to her staff? I can't. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know. But whatever effect, because what she did, I don't think a lot of people know, at least out here, is that she had 4 siblings. Everyone just thinks there's 2. There was 4. There was 2 older ones, and she had stepsons, as you are well know. So that also was a problem. And she got the 2 oldest ones to get rid of the 2 younger ones, and then she sells the team, and then she fires the 2 older ones. And they all got like $500 million, whatever they got. But I just wanted to get your opinion on that because I think it's unbelievable. That whole organization has been run. Go ahead.
Are you there?
Am I losing you? I'm losing you again.
I'm here.
All right. Yeah, I was saying.
Well, Michael.
Yes.
Michael, what it tells me is that she has no idea what she's doing. She's depending on family to help her make team decisions. And that goes back again to what I've been saying. You can't always depend on family to help you out in those situations. It goes back to what I was saying. She clearly had no idea what she was doing. And I think that led to her decision to move on and sell the franchise. And I think it's best for all Lakers fans, and I think it's great for the city that now I'm going blank on his name. The Dodgers owner is now going to be the minority owner, yes. the majority owner,
yes,
of the team now. Walter, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I'm going blank on his name. I know his name, but I just can't spit it out.
But you know something?
That's what I think about the whole.
But what she did, in order for her to sell the team, she still remains president. Figure that out.
Yeah, she is the governor of the team, which is unusual. Usually when someone sells the team, they have no parts of the organization. So that's interesting to me that she gets to stay on as the governor of the team. That's interesting to me. But I think now, even though she is the governor, you're going to see a lot of changes with this Lakers team, because I can tell you the guy that owns them now, he likes to win. And you see what he's done with the Dodgers organization. Yeah. So in time, you're going to see eventually at some point, they're going to move on from LeBron. They're going to move on from a number of these guys on the team. They need a bench. They need to get better in a number of key areas. And the only way to do that is for this new owner that has taken over is to clean house. I don't see it any other way.
What is your opinion on the upcoming, second half of the season with the Lakers? Where do you see them fitting in? Do you think they're going to make a good playoff run? You think they have any possibility of maybe getting to the conference finals? Or what's your take on the Lakers as we speak right now?
At the moment, as we speak right now, no, I don't see it. I don't even see them as a borderline playoff team. Sadly, I don't even see them as a play-in team. It does not look good for the Lakers. I know they got blown out by the San Antonio Spurs. They got by the OKC Thunder, which, after the game, LeBron wasn't too happy and was very critical of his team. And that's another guy who can't take accountability as well. So it's just a bad situation right now for the Los Angeles Lakers. Like I said, they don't have a bench. They don't have a perimeter that can defend. Don't really have, a quality shooter, even though they made the trade for Luke Kennard, which I thought was a good trade for them. They need more than Luke Kennard, okay? They need another superstar to get younger. And here's the big thing that the Lakers really need, Michael, and I always say this, the Lakers thrive with a good big man. They need another big. Every time a championship, they had a dominant big. Shaquille O'Neal. They had Andrew Bynum when they won. They had Paul Gasol. They had
that's true.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So they've always done it with a big man. And I think they need a quality big if they are to win anything. Anything. They're not going to win it. They put too much focus into guards that can't win. I mean, Luka is a special player in his own right, but he can't play defense. Okay, we know he could drop 40 or 30 points a night, but he's not going to, do anything on the other end of the floor. He doesn't play defense. He never gets back on defense because, for one, he's too busy whining to the officials when he doesn't get a call, so he's not getting back on defense. And LeBron is just too old to play defense. He's 41 years old, and you're expecting him to score and get back on the other end of the floor and play defense. That's not going to happen. And another thing, the Lakers are not very good in transition. They can't get out in the fast break. Teams smoke them every single time. I just don't see, even if they did get to the playoffs, I don't see a scenario where they can beat the San Antonio Spurs or a team like OKC. I don't think they can't even beat the Timberwolves. They showed us that they're a very physical team. That can out physical them, that can out muscle them. The Lakers don't have a chance.
Who do you think they should have tried, or maybe were able to get a big man?
I don't know what it is.
Who would you want that they could possibly go after?
What's going on with the connection?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Oh, man. I don't know.
I think it's on Jonathan's side because, Conn, you're good.
I'm good.
Oh, man.
Jonathan, that's that Southern California connection we got going on.
Oh, man, that ain't good. That ain't good. Do I need to move over to my phone?
I don't know. But I was just thinking again.
I'll move over to my phone if I have to.
Well, I'll keep talking until you get with it. Yeah, my take on the Lakers is that, of course, defensively that they're hurting real bad, and they do need a big man. What I was asking Judge was, who out there would they be able to get that would be effective for them while remaining under the second apron? Because if they're getting a big quality big man, it's going to cost some money. And, would they be, they're paying Luka gazillion dollars. LeBron's making over $55 million a year. Reeves just signed a new contract. And as you know, it's so important for teams to try to get below that second apron and for them to do things. And the thing that they want to do is they want to get not only cap space, but also be able to pick up free agents as well. So do we have the Judge back in the picture yet? You ready, Judge? We got a little.
I think I'm fine.
All right, good. Yeah, I was before we had that little technical issue. I was asking you what big men out there would the Lakers be able to get and still remain under the second apron?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know who they would be able to get. I can give you who I think they could get, but it's a little bit wishful thinking. Maybe you get a guy like Giannis. I really like Giannis to team up with Luka. I think that would make a great pairing, but I don't see how that works out. I don't even think the Lakers is one of his preferable destinations in the near future. I think he would prefer to go to a place like New York or Golden State or even the Minnesota Timberwolves, the teams we have been hearing about.
Do you think he may not go anywhere?
Yeah, I heard that too, that he may actually decide to stay, that he might stay loyal to Milwaukee. When we heard reports that he wanted out, there was rumors that he didn't want to be there anymore. There was so many speculations surrounding him that it almost felt like he had one foot out the door. So I don't know. We don't really know what to make of that.
But one thing that I was thinking about, that if he stays with the Bucks, he can make more money. So that might be in the back of his mind as well. You know what I mean? So you might have to take that into consideration. Now, let's talk about the, I would guess, the free agency and the trades that occurred couple weeks ago, a week ago. What is your take on that? Who were the winners? Who were the losers? And who do you think will possibly really mess up their chances by making maybe a bad move in the trade value?
Well, I could tell you that James Harden was an easy one. That's a bad move.
I
did not, for the life of me, I did not understand that one. I did not understand that trade whatsoever. I don't know why you're trading for a guy that doesn't show up in the playoffs. Does that make any sense? Why would you trade for James Harden when he has a playoff history, particularly in games 6 and 7s, to not show up and not have a big playoff performance? We've seen it time and time again. And another thing I don't understand, you're pairing him up with Donovan Mitchell. Of all people, Donovan Mitchell. These are two primary ball handlers. So it didn't make sense to me. So you basically have Donovan Mitchell, and then you think James Harden is that one player that can get you over the top. I don't see it that way. I think if anything, you're going backwards. And I know Darius Garland was always injured, but I would have preferred to stay with Darius Garland than to get a James Harden who's, not always injured. He's healthy, and he can give you a lot of points in the regular season. But what good is that if he's not going to show up when you really need him to be James Harden?
And the other thing, Judge, is the fact that, he gets real pessimistic on the teams he's been with. That's why he decides to leave on every team so far. And then, like you said, he don't really play well during game 6 and 7 of the playoffs. His average goes way down. But I think they wanted him to be a facilitator so that he could spread the ball around, make the big men play a little bit bigger, and probably get them a little bit more offensively minded as well. But, what other moves you think that were really positive?
I like the Luke Kennard one for the Lakers, even though it's not going to really push the needle. I like that because I felt like we needed another guard who can shoot, who can knock it down. And you really didn't give up much for him, which was a huge win, like a huge steal. You got the best three-point shooter in the league, percentage-wise. So I really thought that was a positive move for the Lakers. So I like that trade. Another trade that I thought was a positive move, and this came earlier. This came way before the trade deadline. Trae Young. I think Trae Young needed a change of scenery. I think he can go there and be a superstar, be the face that they want him to be. I did say that I felt like he was a little bit slightly overrated, but I think the change of scenery helps for him with Washington. I like him to go to Washington and be an impactful player. I think he definitely puts butts in seats. Maybe not ready to win a championship just yet, but they got a young nucleus there. They can definitely build around him. I think in the near future, this is a team that is going to contend, and they're going to do everything they can to build around him. So to me, that was another positive trade as well. I don't know how a lot of people felt about that, but I feel like the Wizards think they're going in the right direction with Trae Young, and they feel that he can be that player that they can build around.
All right, Judge. But now you talked about Harden going to the Cavs. Where the Wizards thinking about when the fact they got Anthony Davis? I'm just saying, he's injury prone. I mean,
yes.
And if he's healthy, I think they can be a force. But if you never know with him. So do you think that was a good move, picking up Anthony Davis?
That I don't think was a good move. That one I didn't agree with. Anthony Davis has been bouncing around the league ever since he got traded from the Los Angeles Lakers. And there's a reason you're getting bounced around the league. If you're getting bounced around the league, there's a reason why teams are passing you around constantly. And you just said it, injury prone. He's injury prone. He's too brittle. He's too fragile. He can't stay healthy, and I don't know. The man's made of glass, and we saw that all the time with the Lakers, man. Every time you look around, I was like, man, this guy's in street clothes again. There he is, standing on the sideline, dressed in street clothes, because he can never stay healthy. This guy cannot give you a full 82-game season. It happens every year. And I don't know what the Wizards think they're getting with him. They obviously think they can get a 1-2 punch with Trae Young and him, on that team. But I mean, again, what they always say, the best ability is availability. I'm not sure what Anthony Davis can do for you if he's not going to stay healthy. He's already sitting the entire season out until next season with the injury. Then he comes back, plays a few games, and then next thing you know, you're hearing he's injured again. I mean, it just happens too much with him. I find it to be a very interesting move, for the Washington Wizards. I don't know why they even, decided to make a move for Anthony Davis. Maybe they think it'll work. Maybe they think he'll finally stay healthy. I don't see it. I personally don't see it.
I kind of agree with you. Now let's go somewhat close to where I'm at. The Boston Celtics. I think they were a surprise thus far. And, they got a guy coming back. I think he's going to come back pretty soon. What do you think about him coming back, and what effect will he have with the Celtics team that they presently have? And what kind of impact that would be, either positively or negatively?
Jason Tatum?
That would be the guy. Yes. I don't talk about Boston too much, but that's the guy.
Man, with JT coming back, I think he can make a tremendous impact. We know what he can give you, right? This guy can score. He can be very explosive, right? Then there's times where he's just a hit or miss. You're like, you're looking at Jason Tatum and you're going, who the hell is that guy? Like, I thought the other night we just saw him drop a 40 piece, or have a 30 burger or a 50 burger, and then the next night he's scoring only 20 or 10 points. And a lot of people have made the argument, Michael, that Jaylen Brown might be the better player. He might be the actual face of that team, not JT. But I think JT coming back, I think that would benefit the Boston Celtics, at least in the regular season. It will. I think the Boston Celtics, as you said, has been a very surprising team, and a lot of that goes to the front office. You got to give a lot of credit to Brad Stevens. This is a guy, who's the architect of that team, and he knows what he's doing. A lot of people were questioning his decisions, like, why are you getting rid of Drew Holiday? Why are you getting rid of Porzingis. That was to get under the salary cap, right? That was all to kind of clear the books and free up and everything. And it has worked tremendously. I mean, you still got guys that can play over there. You got Pritchard. You got guys that can score. You got guys that have been on that team and they play a collective brand of basketball, and that's what you get from the Boston Celtics. And I think with Jason Tatum coming back, I think all it does is elevate that offense even more to, go more places. And that's what we will see, I think, with the return of Jason Tatum.
Also, I think another surprise is the Hornets. I think they won 9 out of 10 games. I think they're really emerging right now as well. Definitely.
They like to scrap too.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just like Detroit.
Yeah. No, they are a surprise team too. Miles Bridges, right?
Yes.
Miles Bridges. Yeah. Hey, Charlotte looked good. What have they won? Like 8 out of the last 9 or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. They've been on a win streak of late here. They look really good. They have surprised a lot of people. LaMelo is clearly the best ball out of the Ball family. So hey, it's great to see what the Charlotte Hornets are doing, considering that they are a small market team, a team that nobody really talks about. I know they got more national coverage here of late, thanks to Amazon Prime Video, and thanks to some of the new networks that have, taken on the rights to broadcast NBA games and everything. But yeah, Charlotte is looking really good right now. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can. I got to give them my flowers, because it's going to be interesting to see, because right about now, I think they're hovering in the 8 or 9 spot.
Yes.
Somewhere in there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they get to the playoffs and what they can do in the Eastern Conference. Because you got to remember, the Eastern Conference is up for grabs a lot of times. It's a weaker conference and everything. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Now, let's journey to the West Coast. You got 2 teams that has been said that they are tanking. What do you think about the tanking part? Number 1 being the Sacramento Kings. And now they're even saying the Dallas Mavericks might be doing that again to get another first-round pick, top 3 pick, whatever.
I have an issue with today's NBA game. I have an issue with today's game for so many reasons. For that, tanking, for the officiating, it's been poor at times as well. I think tanking has become a huge part of all sports, really. You look at it, it's like that in football, and now it's like that in basketball. And the thing with basketball is that it's not guaranteed that you will get the number 1 pick overall, because you still got a draft lottery.
That's true.
Which a lot of people think is rigged as well. So for teams that's tanking, I don't really like it, because I think what it does, it robs the fans of fan experience. What it does is that it shows a fan that those players don't actually care about winning. And I think what fans want to see, the number 1 thing that any sports fan want to see is effort. They want effort. They want the team to give 110% effort every night. They don't care if the team stinks or if the team sucks. They just want to see effort. They want to see you give it their all. And when a team is tanking, what it tells me is that the only thing you care about is getting the number 1 pick. And there's not a promise that number 1 pick is going to be the guy that takes you to new heights. I'm just keeping it real. Like, that doesn't mean that you're going to be all of a sudden become this great basketball team. So how I feel about tanking, I think that's something that needs to be addressed. I'm not sure how you go about addressing that, because it's really tough to do that, because if a team's going to be willing to tank, I feel like they're going to do it anyway. They're going to find a way to lose the games purposely just so they can get the number 1 overall pick, or at least try to get the number 1 overall pick. And it just doesn't always work out that way. So I'm not really a big fan of tanking, but at the same time, I understand why teams do it.
Judge, there's been a little bit of an issue with the restrictions that Adam Silver put on players if they want to make or be eligible to get any postseason awards. I think they have to participate or play at least 65 games. What do you think about that? Do you agree with it? Or, what if someone has a injury that, they weren't load managing, and so what's your take on that?
Yes and no. Yes and no. There's pros and cons to that. The pros to that is that it kind of minimizes load management. I think that's the NBA's number 1 goal, is to try to minimize load management, so you don't have so many players, sitting games out and things of that nature. So I think that's the pro to it. I think the con to it is if a player gets hurt, it's not always their fault. They can suffer injury that has them out for a long period of time, where they are forced to miss a chunk of games because they suffered a serious type of injury that will keep them sidelined for a long time. And now that puts them out of question 40 award, right? Now they're not eligible to be named the MVP when they were having such a wonderful season, all because of that rule that's been implemented. So yes and no to that rule. I think, again, there's pros and cons to it, but I don't know if I can say that I'm a fan of it, and I don't know if I can say that I'm not a fan of it. I think it goes. I know people say you can't have it both ways, but I think this is one of those rules that was implemented to, basically, hey, you know what? Load management has gotten completely out of control. We got to try to regulate this. We got to put a stop to this. And one way to do it is by coming up with this rule that makes a player ineligible if they miss a certain amount of games.
Which leads me into my next question, because you talked about effort. Well, we got an event coming up this weekend, the All-Star game. And, I know Adam Silver's trying to do anything to, help the All-Star game. And, by getting, the Europeans against the world team against the USA team or all that. But do you think that's a good idea? You think the concept is good? And if you don't, what could they do?
Well, here's the thing with that too. All sports leagues are copycat leagues, and hockey tried that idea last year and it worked wonders for hockey, right? Like, I think it drew eyebrows. Like I think what that did, that event, the 4 Nations thing, I think that, actually intrigued a nation. I think people that never watched hockey, like the casual fans and people that were never really into the sport, became more into hockey because of that 4 Nations event.
That's true.
So I think this could, be a good idea for the NBA. But I have to be honest, though, man, what worked for NHL may not work for NBA. You know why I say that? Because the NHL players, they actually compete like it's an actual game. And those guys went out there and they competed like it was a game 7, or like their lives were on the line, or something. It meant something to them. NBA players, I don't care what gimmick you try to come up with, they have shown countless times, year after year, that no matter what gimmick you come up with, it doesn't matter to them, that they're not going to take the game seriously. And we've seen it countless times with NBA players. They never take that game seriously. I don't care what you do. East versus West, world versus USA. You could play, you can have this pickup ball type of format, and it's still not going to work because those players don't put their heart and soul into it like NHL players. put into their game. It just never seems to work out. So I'm curious to see how this USA World thing works out. And I have a feeling that USA will get blown out because we see how many international stars we have in this game now. And quite frankly, you look at it, the international stars have taken over the NBA.
There's a fact. And also, there's been a lot of injuries, and a lot of guys might not be participating in this week's game. So I think that's going to cause a problem as well. But I think it could be interesting. Like, it's a different concept. Hey, what they got to lose? What they got to lose? They got to try something. You know what I mean? And overall, what is your opinion? Let me go back because I want to get you on this. And while I get you on here, I want to get your take on this. Two things. I know it's not the NBA, but it kind of is. I want your take on the NIL and the transfer portal. I want your idea about it. Do you think it's effective? Do you think one of my favorite players in NCAA this year is a guy who locally lives right from around here, DeBansa from BYU. Judge, he's getting $7 million a year of NIL money. So I want to know your take because something's got to give. Something's got to give. What do you think is going to happen?
I have been pushing for college athletes to get paid because
Absolutely.
they bring a lot of money to the universities.
Yes.
I don't think people realize how integral they are to a university or athletic program. They generate a lot of dollars for universities, so they deserve to be paid. Now, as far as NIL deals, I think it has kind of destroyed the landscape of college football, and it has kind of changed the way coaches have to do things, how these programs have to do things and everything. So yeah, although I'm okay with players getting money, I think NIL, all college sports has become now is the NBA and the NFL. That's all it is now. It's always been about money. It's a money-making business. Everything's about money. And so you got college players, you got 19-year-olds, 17, 19-year-olds making millions of dollars, and they don't even know what to do with that money. And I think the whole thing with the NIL was to keep these kids in school a bit longer, which that has worked to a degree, but it also has destroyed the way we view college sports. Like, you got players now bouncing around like it's free agency or something. Like, this is like, and at the end of the day, I can't tell you, Michael, it is a big money making business. So, but now you got these players just moving around. I don't even know half of these players anymore because they're just, moving around the country wherever they please. They're going to play at other places. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these older coaches, they're just saying, to hell with it. We're leaving. We're getting out of it. Nick Saban got out of it. Who knows who's next? Dabble Sweeney might get out of it because we all know he doesn't like to use the transfer portal, right? So it's become one of those things where it's like, okay, this player is leaving this school because he can get more money here. And it's become a problem for college athletics. And now I just feel like college sports is not what it was 20 years ago, where these players actually cared and they played with a sense of pride and there was more of a passion. Now it's just like watching the NBA or watching the NFL. It's just another money-making business, basically, is what it is now. And I feel like a lot of these players move around because it's a money grab. You saw what happened with old boy from Tennessee, the quarterback from Tennessee. He left thinking he would get more money at UCLA. He betted on himself and lost out. So that's the kind of things we're seeing now in college sports. And I think it has, in a way, destroyed the game.
Now, bring me to my next topic. What is your feeling about players who play in the G League can now go back to college because they make more money through the NIL money than they do playing in the G League.
Yeah, see, that's crazy too. That's crazy too, you know. And so again, it goes back to what I was saying. These young guys are going to chase money. Okay, a lot of them are going to chase money, and the reason why, Michael, is because they never seen this much money in their lives. A lot of these guys come from poverty-stricken backgrounds, right? And their ultimate goal, their dream, is to be an NFL player or an NBA player. Their dream is not to go to school and earn a degree. That's the last thing on their mind. These guys want generational wealth for their families. So to see what's happening, it's just an unusual thing for a lot of us because it's something that's new and you're seeing it more often now. It's a common thing. It's commonplace, right? And so I think that's kind of wow that you're seeing people leave the G League and go back to college just so they can get the NIL deals. Basically, they're going where the money is. But do you blame them at the end of the day?
No.
I really can't.
Now, what I wanted to ask you too is that let the viewers know about you, about what your future has in store for you. And let's talk about you now.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the floor, and thanks for allowing me to use your platform as well. So I am known as the sports judge. My name is Jonathan Mathis, but they know me as the sports judge. And, you know, I became the sports judge because my last name is Mathis, Judge Mathis, as you guys know, the popular TV judge. And, you know, it was a nickname that was given to me by an old friend that I used to work with at an old sports website back in the day. And the reason that name came about is because I'm very judgmental when I talk sports, for those who know me. And I give my opinions, I give my takes on sports all the time. So I started off as a writer. Michael knows my story. I started off as like a blogger, columnist, and I just was writing opinion pieces about sports. And then I said, you know what? I need to branch out. I need to become multimedia. And I did. And I started doing the video stuff and the podcasting. I love that even more than I do the writing. But like I told Michael before, I feel like my area expertise where I am really effective and where I'm really good and crafty is my writing. I can use my mighty pen. And I can do that really, really well. But I wanted to, you know, become more comfortable, more confident in myself in doing content and getting in front of the camera and talking and sharing my sports opinions with the entire world. And that's what I do today. So you guys can find me on various platforms. I'm on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel. It is The Sports Judge. Just type it in the search column and I should pop up. My channel should pop up. You guys can like and subscribe to the channel. And you guys can also follow me on TikTok. I know TikTok is constantly changing the platform. There's a lot of people complaining about how TikTok is now after it's been purchased by the US now. It's just a different platform and everything. But I'm still there. I'm active. You guys can find me there at the Sports Judge 85. And you guys can find me at Instagram, the Sports Judge 85 as well. And you guys can also find my Facebook page. If you look up the Sports Judge, my page will pop up and you guys can like and follow there as well.
Judge, one thing too I would like you to convey to the audience. You had the pleasure of covering the Super Bowl. Talk to the viewers about that.
Yes, so a year ago, not this year. I skipped out this year. I was invited to go, but I skipped out. I had personal issues, for personal reasons. I skipped out, but I will be there next year when it's in LA. But yes, I did experience it. I did experience that in New Orleans. What a fun week it was. I was on Radio Row. That's the place you want to be. If you are serious about this, Radio Row is the place to be because you can connect with other people in the business. You can network with other people. You are working with people who do the same thing that you do. And it's a lot of fun. You can exchange numbers. You can do interviews with people. You can catch celebrities in there, and you can pull them over for an interview if they have time to talk to you. So it's a really great experience, and I encourage anybody who is serious about this and who really want to make a career out of this, that you one day get that opportunity to experience Radio Row. It will change your life. I think it's a great thing for everybody in this business, and it's one place that you definitely want to experience, and it for sure can be a life changer.
Now, another question I want to ask you, Judge, is that now this could be a little touchy subject, but you got people who do podcasts. They do it for the enjoyment. Mm-hmm. And you got people who do podcasts and try to make a living. How hard is it for someone who loves to do podcasts and they want to grow and to become financially stable? How difficult is it? And another question before you answer that one: how come you ain't national?
I mean, I see myself as national, even though I'm not like this big time famous well-known guy, or I'm not paid millions of dollars to do this for a living. I see myself as one of those guys. I know I'm a little person in this business. I'm one of the little people, but it's okay. I think it's very challenging in this business because, look, anyone can get in front of a camera like us, or anyone can get in front of a microphone and talk about sports. So it's a very competitive thing. It's easy to break out. I feel like it's almost as if you have to know the right people to help you through the door. Not saying you have to put in the work, because you definitely have to put in the work. In order for, and this is what I would like to tell people, in order for someone else to help you, you got to be able to help yourself first. If you could do that, if you can help yourself first, then good things can happen for you. Doors will open. So I think it's all about networking. I think it's all about knowing the right people. And I think it's about consistency. Consistency is key. Okay, because I've been doing this stuff consistently for a long time. So you got to stay persistent with it. You got to stay consistent with it. You got to be dedicated, and you got to put your heart into it. And if you do those things, I think in the long run, you will win. But it takes people years to get to where they got to go. I was talking to my good friend, Danny Thompson. I don't know if you know Danny Thompson, but Danny Thompson told me it took 17 years for him to get to where he another guy that I know, he's in Houston. Great guy, Mathis. Mathis is a great Dan Mathis. He's a wonderful person. He does radio for a radio station in Houston. Talks about the Astros, the Texans, the Houston Rockets, all those teams. And he was telling me it took him 15 years to get his first radio gig. So it takes time. And I know I get frustrated. I know there's times where I get discouraged. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't know if I want to keep going on with this. I don't know if it's time for me to just throw in the towel. You can't do that. But you have those days where you get like discouraged and you just feel down on yourself and you're like, what am I doing? And why am I not in the place where I want to be? And a lot of times it's because this is a business where you just got to keep grinding and grinding and grinding. You can't take no for an answer. And one of my biggest struggles, Michael, and I know you heard me talk about this, is rejection. I hate when somebody tells me no. I hate it. I hate it with a passion, but that's part of it. That's part of it. And sometimes when someone tells me no, I have a tendency to take it a little bit personal because I'm like, well, what did I do wrong? What is it that I'm not doing well enough to be qualified or to be given an opportunity to finally break out in this business? And then that's when I go back to the drawing board and say, okay, there's something maybe I can do better, or just keep putting content out there and the right person will come along. Because look, I'm going to tell you this too, guys. You'll hear more no's before you hear yeses. All it takes is one yes. All it takes is one yes. And I got that yes a year ago when I was invited to New Orleans. I got that yes from my good friend Troy, who is in this business. And if you guys want a little inspiration, that's a guy you get inspiration from, because he is making good money doing this for a living, and he's been doing it for a long time now.
He's also coming on my show in a couple of weeks, by the way. So I'm looking forward to having him on as well. What I like my guests to do, Judge, is make an impact. So if you had to give some advice or for someone who's just starting out in the podcast world and they want to get into it, but they really don't know anything yet, what advice would you give to them?
I would say just get in front of a camera and just go. Just go. Just go, because you never know who's watching. You never know who might like your content, and you never know who's inspired by it. And the thing is, people may not tell you they are inspired by you, but you never know who you might inspire or whose day you made. You can make a person's day by doing this stuff. You don't know. And again, you just never know who's watching. So my best piece of advice is just go. Just do what you got to do. Get your equipment, get a microphone, do whatever you got to do. You don't even just use a webcam. Just go on and just talk and just tell the world what you're feeling about sports. And someone will like it. Not everybody's going to like you, but someone will like it. And someone will appreciate it. And then you will have your haters and your doubters. And that's okay too, because you need that. Army of doubters is a good thing, because that helps motivate you. That gives you the lighter fluid that you need to keep pushing. And that makes you a better person at the end of the day. And you got to learn. And I just learned this, not to take everything so personal, because I used to get real sensitive to the trolls and I used to take things personal. And now all I do is just laugh at it. And I will even also share some of that on social media as well, just for a good laugh for people to see the comments.
Now, just before we go, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask you that you wanted to convey to the audience? Is there anything that maybe I didn't bring up, or while we got you for the last couple of minutes, is there anything you want to let the viewers know? Besides,
I think we hit it. We hit it, my friend. I think we pretty much covered everything that needed to be covered. But I do want to say this. It was a pleasure to come back on and be on this show. I want to thank you for having me. I also want to thank your audience for tuning in as well. The audience are great as well. So much love to everybody who tuned in, and much love to you, Michael, as well, for doing your thing in this business as well. You do great stuff. I'm always checking out your content. Love your basketball commentary. And I think you got to keep going, man. Just keep rocking with it.
Now, to let the viewers know one more time, how can they get in touch with you? How can they see everything about you? Because I know when they see this video, they're going to be turning on you a lot.
Yes. So you guys can find me on YouTube. Look up The Sports Judge. That's my YouTube channel. And you guys can also find me on Instagram at The Sports Judge 85. And you guys can find me on Instagram at Sports Judge 85. And don't forget, I'm on Facebook as well, The Sports Judge. Just look me up and I should pop up. Judge,
thank you for coming on my show. It's been an honor and a privilege, my man. You take care.
It's gotten dark on my patio.
I can see. Again, thank you so much for coming on my show. You know,
thanks for having me.
I'll check you out. I'm always following you. You already know that. But anyway, again, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come on my show. Take care. God bless. I'll be keeping in touch with you.
All right, definitely.
Have a good night. Folks, that was my man, Jonathan, the Judge Mathis. You know, it's good to have people like that who can inspire you, because he's been doing this for a while. And, you know, like you said, it's a tough business, and people, you know, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? And you need people, quality people around you, and you need to be dedicated and committed. And again, I've been following Jonathan for a while. He's been on my show before. I think he's entertaining. I think he's going to do big things in this business, if you would call it that. But anyway, I want to thank him for coming on my show. And, you know, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to my show as well. You know, I love doing this show. I got my producer, Key Williams, who definitely, without her, I couldn't do this anyway. So, folks, we got some good shows coming up. You know, we got our guy, Mike Stemio, who's going to be talking about his brand new book. We got Marcus Houghton. He's supposed to come on tomorrow. He has been voted as a nominee for the Naismith NBA Basketball Hall of Fame. Not as a player, but for his contributions dealing with, he played ball for like 10, 12 years, in Cape Verde Islands. And he's been doing so many things still to this day with the Cape Verde Islands. He's one of the greatest basketball players to ever come out this area. And guys, my man is very, very good. You're going to check him out. He's very knowledgeable, and he's had a great career, and I'm looking forward to speaking with him. That'll be tomorrow night as well. And then, of course, we have, our NBA show that we do too, called The Courtside View. We have a great crew, and I enjoy doing that show. That's very entertaining. So, folks, again, I want to thank you for tuning into my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. And you guys take care. God bless. Until next time.